Oh, hi. How are you doing? I didn't see you guys there. I was just admiring a 360 PS3 trilogy from afar. Guilty pleasure, don't mind me. What's not a guilty pleasure trilogy from the 360 PS3 era is the Mass Effect franchise. It's so beloved by gamers, and for the right reasons. It's an RPG titan, and since its initial releases on the 360 PS3, and we've gone through the remaster era of the PS4 and the Xbox One, people have wanted Mass Effect, one of the major gaming franchises, to come back. And we got Andromeda. Andromeda, it's got good multiplayer, but Andromeda, okay? So, we've been wondering more and more now, where is that remaster at EA? But EA used to really double down on the idea of not doing remasters because they thought that it'd be better to make original games, but their original games were like FIFA Ultimate Team money scams, so really not that original. Over time, as the winds of change blew through EA, we learned that they are going to be doing some type of HD title before April 2021, and so speculation picked up. Will it be Dragon Age with Dragon Age Origins? Will they do Mass Effect? What options does EA have? Are they going to bring back Skate? And so then Jeff Grubb of VentureBeat stepped out and said, it's going to be the Mass Effect Trilogy Remastered. Since then, it's been radio silence. We haven't had much substantial rumors for a number of months. A lot of people expected the announcement at EA Play, a really vacant showcase that needed something kind of major with substance, like the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster. No cigar there. So here we are today covering some pretty exciting information, stuff that we can really put our mitts on and talk about. So let's get into it. It looks like the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster is coming a lot sooner. Like, I mean, in a month and a half, lot sooner than we expected. So let's get into it. It all began with PC Gamer reporting, like I mentioned earlier, that there would be a remaster of Mass Effect Trilogy coming out before next April, to which a mega thread was created over on Reddit. And there, 23 days ago, there is a comment that has not gained much traction but contains some very important information to kick off this discussion. So today, in my place of work that sells video games, I came across a pre-order in our coming soon digital catalog that's available for customers to browse freely. So this is publicly available. N7 Mass Effect Trilogy Remastered. I was like, oh, they're just being prepared because of rumors. But instead of a to be confirmed in the release date, it has September 29th this year. Please be real. Please be real. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Please indeed be real. Here we can see the picture where we have the likes of Avengers, Iron Man VR, we have Super Lucky's Tale, we have NHL 21, don't touch that game by the way, Mafia Definitive Edition, Mafia Trilogy, and then we do have the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster. Now, like I said, this is an older post. It's from 23 days ago. So, for example, the Mafia release date hasn't been updated yet. But the fact that Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster is there is very encouraging, especially if it's in a store's database and they do have, indeed, an actual release date. I believe this because I don't think that remasters need a lot of hype and marketing for multiple months like a lot of people think they do. Especially a game series like Mass Effect. Mass Effect needs no introduction. People are very familiar with it, especially a well-established trilogy that does a great job of telling a story outside of, some issues with 3. It's still a great series of games, and it can really sell itself just off of its reputation alone. Anything else is a bonus for sure. You look at the likes of Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, or like I just mentioned earlier, Mafia Definitive Edition, where Mafia 1 and 2 are getting remastered / remade, and those came out pretty immediately, especially in the case of like Mafia 2, its remaster coming out a week later. That creates more of a surge in sales and excitement and conversation because people's favorite games are surprisingly back. So I would not be caught off guard if we saw something from EA this month talking about the Mass Effect Trilogy, or maybe even early September confirming the game. Like, they may wait that long and just surprise people saying like, hey, Mass Effect's coming back and it's coming back in 2 weeks. That would be a holy smokes moment. I gotta prepare. I gotta get my body ready for this. Now, of course, with Mass Effect information with this trilogy remaster, we have to go to our Lord and Savior Jeff Grubb, who provided us with the initial leak that this is in fact the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster, and he said that it isn't the name of the collection, so it's not going to be called the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster. Maybe it's called like Shepherd's Tale or something like that. Imagine that, Mass Effect Shepherd's Pie. That'd be something else. He was also asked another question, asking, is there a possibility it might be shown at the PlayStation or Xbox August events, as both companies and leakers alike were hinting at them having more games to show? Also, thank you. Jeff says, I don't know, but I don't think so. And so yesterday, PlayStation did announce a brand new state of play that focuses on upcoming PS4 and PSVR games, a few quick check-ins on third-party and indie games from the PS5 showcase, so Mass Effect would not fall there. No big PS5 announcements, so really that first one of upcoming PS4 and PSVR games, obviously the PS4 games, I think is where Mass Effect would fit best. Between this leak date that we're just picking up now and of course the state of play, there is a chance there. Xbox has already confirmed that they are going to be doing their own August event, so there's an opening there. We don't know if that'll be next gen focused or not. To me, it just appears that these companies cannot figure their own you-know-what out when we're supposed to be spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these consoles, and they're just like, yeah, we'll get you your prices and your details in like a couple of weeks, even though it's probably coming out in like November. But hey, if you're gonna spend like over $500 on our product, good luck, dude. yeah, you don't need to know how much you need to save. Anyway, really off track there. But my point being is that I think Mass Effect is coming soon. I believe this rumor because I don't think these remasters need a lot of marketing. There's that surge, that excitement that I think really pays off for a lot of these companies if they just release them sooner rather than later. Mass Effect on its own, especially since it's been in the rumor mill for a while, I think would be a fantastic fit for something that maybe gets announced mid to late August and then it's coming out the following month. Hey all, Matt from the editing room here. There's another bit of information that I forgot to include in my initial recording. The art of the Mass Effect Trilogy Expanded Edition. This is indeed a art book with lots of information on the development of the Mass Effect Trilogy. It's releasing March 23rd, 2021. So this is one of those things where you think to yourself, hey, why is this coming out now? The Mass Effect Trilogy has been around for so long, we've had so much information on it. Unless they plan on reigniting interest with the Mass Effect Trilogy, I don't see a reason to have an expanded edition of the art for this trilogy, unless a new series of games are coming in the form of a remastered trilogy. Just some food for thought, but I don't think this is any kind of coincidence, especially since it says March 23rd, 2021, so it's that similar deadline as April 2021 when it came to an HD title from EA. So yes, these two overlap, and I think it just adds more credibility to the idea that this game is absolutely happening sooner rather than later. And between the Mafia remake, and then you've got also Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, and now maybe a Mass Effect trilogy, September is gonna be like the most nostalgic month ever if this all ends up really happening. And that is gonna be so exciting. I don't wanna rile people up, but I just do genuinely believe in the idea that this is coming out in September. It just makes too much sense given the fact that they're saying we're going to get it out before April 2021. A remaster can help boost your last quarter earnings, which I think can put EA in a pretty good spot financially. Between that, they're not going to have any microtransactions or live service elements in Star Wars Squadrons, so you've got that going for itself. It's a $40 title. They're not going to make hand over fist on that, at least I personally don't think. So you can have a bonus moneymaker here releasing around the same window that can help them out financially, since they don't have, you know, the typical monetized games outside of what we've seen from the EA Sports selection. Now the talk does continue to be, what is EA going to do with this trilogy remaster? What exactly is it going to be? Is it going to be similar to the Mafia trilogy where you're going to remake one of the games and then you're going to remaster two of them? For example, in the case of Mass Effect, you want to remake the first Mass Effect. It's pretty dated, and I'm talking from a perspective of someone who last played it, and I think it was 2014, and it felt dated then. So I can only imagine now in 2020, even with a couple of tweaks to its gameplay, that's something that could benefit from a remake. But that's a pretty substantial game from the ground up to remake. That's no easy task, and that's not to brush off the work of, say, the Mafia trilogy where they're remaking the first game. But even with the groundwork there, Mass Effect 1 is a really big RPG, so that might be a more monumental task to remake. I don't think they shouldn't do it, but I do genuinely think, at least if this listing is to believe, the name suggests it's a remastered trilogy all in one package. We already got the Mass Effect trilogy on the PS3. I remember that was a item I had bought from GameSpot, I want to say. I saw it on the store shelf, and it was always tempting. It was always there. And one day I just caved in and picked it up. So from my perspective, I think they're just going to take what that trilogy essentially is and put it on the PS4 and Xbox One. I don't expect EA to be setting the standard for remakes and remasters. Although it looks like, and it didn't review super well, but from what I saw on paper, like the Command and Conquer remastered thing that they did had like a lot of new features, a lot of significant changes, and that was a little more, I don't want to say niche, but it wasn't like a Mass Effect, right? And they made a lot of changes with that. So it would be really cool if when they brought back Mass Effect, like 1 had some tweaked gameplay, maybe like additional classes or something along those lines that came in from like 2 or 3, bring them into 1 somehow. Things, of course, like facial animations being updated, resolution will, of course, be updated. Gunplay, cover mechanics, that stuff has to play better. Mass Effect 3 played so stinking well. And once again, I mentioned it with Andromeda, but the multiplayer in Mass Effect 3, this needs to be a part of the package. It needs to be a part of the package. It is so unfairly good. It is amazing multiplayer. So I would love to see them bring that back. I don't have my hopes that high because I feel like anytime these games get remastered, they like leave out the multiplayer. Like even MW2 is not immune to that, and it's Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty is so popular. You've got MW2, one of the most popular multiplayer games of all time, and they just remake the campaign. It's like, so yeah, those are just my general expectations on what the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster will be. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I dish it off to you. How are you feeling about everything? Let me know in the comments down below. Are you excited? Are you cautiously optimistic? Do you not believe any of this? Let me know. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all of the patrons who continue to kill it with that support. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and I'll talk with you soon. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.